I'll always be loving you. I'll always be loving.
Hello guys, KFC Plays here, back with another video. Today, well, I was supposed to get this out Friday. I think I'm gonna upload reviews on Sundays. That would be nice, because really no one likes Mondays, so I'd probably like to upload Sundays. Today we're just gonna be talking about the aircraft, which you can see on your screen, the Hurricane Mark II. I'm not really going to reference the premium, the first premium in the game actually. If you're not aware, the Hurricane Mark II, the Japanese line was the first premium we ever got in this game. Interesting and ironically enough. But we'll be talking about really, is this aircraft really worth buying? If you haven't bought it or you haven't tried it out, very, very different from the Hurricane Mark I, obviously. You know, very handicapped vehicle this one is, and yeah, I'll also be getting to history. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like the video and comment down if there's any other aircraft you'd like me to review. Pretty much have every aircraft in the game except for the P-38 reward vehicle, which not a lot of people have. They did lower the price range, so it's no longer 5 million. It's now it's $1 million. So that makes it easier for most people. And yeah. All right. So diving into the history, obviously the Hawker Hurricane, the British single-engine fighter. The production and design really started in the 1930s and really 40s. Obviously built by Hawker Hurricane, and it's, you know, it's honestly, to me it's kind of surprising how most people like the Spitfire more than the Hurricane. Well, mostly because most RAF pilots back then actually preferred the Hurricane over the Spitfire in the early bits of war. Obviously because, well, it was generally the most reliable aircraft. The Spitfire was obviously it was obviously a better aircraft, but most people just preferred, you know. And again, it is very surprising how most people like the Spitfire over the Hurricane, because the 60% of the Luftwaffe's deaths, you could say, Battle of Britain really, 60% of the aircraft shot down were from the Hawker Hurricanes. So, I mean, I don't think this aircraft gets a lot of love, for what it's worth, because it was a really good aircraft back then, and the Spitfire came and kind of just, I don't know, shat all over it, because, you know, it was the better aircraft in the long run. You know, like I said, convenient, it was easy. Most pilots liked it because very conventional construction methods. You know, you didn't really need like the American aircraft needed, which was a mechanic for pretty much every plane or for your squadron. It was an easy fix. If something was broken, you could repair it, you could order a new part without external support or really any hardship. It was really easy. The Hurricane we have is and I'm gonna try and be as brief as I can here. Is the newest engine in the Hurricane Mark II. This one is the newest engine. Use a mix of 70% water was designed so it wouldn't catch on fire, which, I mean, at that point, catching fire was probably the worst thing that could happen to you in your aircraft. So that was a pretty important, not really important in WAD. The mix was a lot safer than what they had been using earlier, and it also ran a lot cooler than most of the engines, giving it that ability to probably stay on war emergency power or WEP, or really just maxing up the throttle for a long time, and being more effective in the battle. Very, very reliable, and it really, like I said, a lot of variance. This one in particular was kind of the interceptor, you could say, but at that point, Britain was probably intercepting with whatever they got, and, well, when you have an aircraft that can intercept things, it's probably best to improve upon it, because you don't really want to just throw out new vehicles that you don't really know will work or not. You know, things like the Typhoon and the Tempest. Yeah, that's really what I'm getting at here. Anyway, now we're on to the realistic battle. And you can really start to see where this aircraft has limitations, and it's kind of handicapped. It's got a lot of potential, and it's also got a lot of what's the word? It's got potential. It's got plenty of that. It can do what it's designed to do, which is shoot down aircraft. But I don't really like to use the word handicap because, I mean, put in the right hands, this thing can absolutely dominate. But to a new player, it's going to be very, very hard to use this aircraft. Just mainly because it's not that fast. It doesn't deliver in terms of speed, and the meta right now is the A4s and the 109Gs. So a lot of aircraft you are fighting is pretty particularly fast. As you can see here, that was a 109. It might have been a Focke-Wulf. I do in fact fight an A4 in this game, but he doesn't really give me much of a fight. And then again, it's the meta. It's what people are using to get XP. They use the fast aircrafts to drop the bombs. Let me get this guy right here with a little sneaky shot, right? But if you do in fact pick this up and want to use it to its abilities, speed is pretty much your best friend. Without it, you're a sitting duck, and you don't really perform as well as you would in the Spitfire. Which again, that theory of Spitfires being better really does shoot down the credibility of this aircraft. Anyway, in the gameplay you can see there's a lot of having to choose who to shoot and who not to shoot. Obviously I can't go after that guy above me because I'll be wasting my energy and I'll be a sitting duck. And I'll have no airspeed, so I'll be easy kill. So I'll go for the guy that's easier. He's right in front of me. And I'm not sure if this guy was friendly or not. I didn't really see much flak. Turns out these are both enemies. They didn't really identify each other too well, so one started shooting at each other. And I figured, wow, this is a better opportunity because I can gain a little bit of altitude and just put my nose right in front of both of them. I'll be able to track both of them easy. Which is also another issue in this game. While you're in this aircraft tracking, aircraft is very difficult if you're not too careful. And this 109 makes it a lot easier to put shots into him. A lot of them not. Is that a 109? It's like a Focke-Wulf. Whatever this is, doesn't really put up a good fight. Makes it a lot easier for me to land shots, and he's doing the exact thing I intended him to do, which is turn. And then he pulls this, I don't even know, a little trick I learned from Red Tails. Absolutely just stalls himself and has me overshoot, which I did not even think he had the speed to do. I thought he was much quicker. But anyway, we're rolling and rolling scissors here, doing a whole bunch of maneuvers. He ends up just wing stalling, flat spinning himself. And at that point I knew, well, this guy's pretty much easy prey. So I'm anticipating, I'm looking up at the other guy, making sure that he's not coming after me. Put some shots into him, and it's an easy kill. I keep getting hit. I don't know if you heard that, but there was a shot from the flak, and it's hitting me. So I'm thinking there's someone on my tail at this moment, but there's actually no one on my tail. And yeah, that's kind of annoying. I wish flak was more accurate than not accurate, you know, shooting at me rather than the enemy. I mean, I guess I can't blame it. It is AI after all. Not much you can really do about it, but sooner or later, those AIs are going to get pretty accurate and shoot me down. I can't tell if this is an A4. The angle at which he's just diving is just very awkward. I immediately know it's a 109 and I pepper him because the way of his empennage. The 20s on this gun absolutely wreak havoc. They're absolutely just a little too good. One head on with this thing, and it's pretty much it's not good. And then you get to see the real benefit of this vehicle, I guess, in terms of having a little speed. You can slow down and land and refuel a lot quicker. This thing can come to a very slow stop at a pretty decent time, actually. But then again, you know, you want speed when you're in this aircraft because A4s really do give you a run for your money because you don't actually have a lot of fuel, and it doesn't take a lot of rounds to really land that will bring you down. This aircraft is very, very delicate, which is, you know, again, it's surprising to me because back then, in the 1940s, most pilots preferred this aircraft because, well, it was more sturdy. It had a little bit more rugged. You know, Spitfires were a little more delicate, which, yeah, there you go, bashing the ego of this aircraft. I mean, it's not really a big issue. You know, an A4 shreds this thing like butter, so you can understand that. But I do wish it was a little bit more, I guess more strong. You know, could take a hit or two. This thing, you know, a couple hits, not even a 20 millimeter. If 120 millimeter hits, you know, does significant damage. Then an aileron or something gets knocked off, and it's just very, very hard to just play with the vehicle, even fly it, or take it off. And then it just becomes a matter of getting away, because you don't really want to be fighting in this thing with, well, not 100% of your aircraft that's operational, unless you're able to use it to its full potential. But again, it's a handicapped vehicle in a way. You're gonna have to work with what you got. So speed is your key here. So I get up to an altitude, and I think this is the A4. Actually, I keep misfiring. So if you see a lot of that just shooting out of nowhere, it's probably because I have stubby fingers. So I'm trying to play into this game with this A4. I want him to commit and turn with me, but the A4 is just strictly a ground target, apparently. Ground fighting vehicle. So he comes in, he does one run, I make him overshoot, and I sort of lose him here. I'm trying to look for him. Luckily I was turning into where he last was. So it was pretty, at that point I knew he was an A4. Well, actually at this point, he's trying to turn and get a shot at me. I don't think he realizes I turned into him this quickly. And this is when it starts lagging. And I could have got a shot off there, but the game is just a little laggy. He's pulling up into a There goes the lag again. He's pulling up, trying to get me to completely stall myself. Really get a clear shot right here. None of them land. I don't think they do. I don't even think I hit this A4 once. I have my conversion set up to 520, 420. That's really the golden number of this thing. Because a lot of the encounters you do get into, since you're slow, a lot of the shots you are taking are from a pretty far distance. The A4 is rolling over, it's trying to get me to follow him. And, well, if you're me and you know better, you wouldn't go after him. So I turned my attention, and I'm pretty sure this is a 109 because it would have been here a lot sooner if he was an A4. And I was willing to take the head on with him anyway, because this thing can trade pretty well for head on. I think it could be an A4. And put some early shots into him, swing my rudder back and forth, trying to make sure I get some, maybe even one hit. I don't think any of them land, but it sure as hell scared him because he landed flying straight. And didn't appear to see me, so we're going to get a 6 and finish him pretty well. And then there you go, there's that sound of the AA hitting me. I freaked out. I thought the A4 was just right on my tail, but he wasn't. So double checked to make sure nothing's behind me, and we're back on the pursuit of the A4. And again, you can see the handicap powered by this vehicle. The A4 tries to head on with me. I didn't really like that. He does have more guns, so I really wasn't interested in heading on with him, doing a head on with him. And he's just storming away. I can't really follow him in any case because even at my max speed, which is roughly 260 miles per hour, he still gets away. So my plane will stiffen up and start to rip, which is quite unfortunate because this aircraft was pretty much known for being super sturdy. So, in all intents and purposes, it really shouldn't be ripping when it reaches its, I would say red line, but it's max speed. So the A4, I don't know what he's doing. I'm not really interested in him. I'm pretty much going to leave him alone, but I'm not really going to truly engage him. I'm trying to sneak in shots by cutting into his turns right here. I'm trying to cut in to maybe pull up to that area which we intercept, but he's just way too fast. As you can see, he's just getting away from me. You know, I don't know why A4s don't really use their aircraft to their abilities. The most dominant aircraft, and this guy's using it to bomb ships. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's low in XP. He's trying to upgrade it. Maybe he just got it and he's trying to upgrade it. So we find the 109 again. He's coming right at us. He's doing the exact same thing as he did before, which is flying a straight line. So I anticipated this. I pulled up to lose some of my altitude, and I think he saw me here. I think he was not just heading straight, but he ends up going in front of me. I think he's trying to turn with me. Yeah, there he goes. And so this makes my life a lot easier, obviously, because I'm designed and built to turn with the enemy. I'm kind of losing here. And I was like, where'd he go? And luckily he overshoots me. He's really committed to me. I'm not sure what aircraft he's at. I think he's in a 109F. I don't see the cutted corners of the 109E model. He flies in a straight line. I struggle to aim here, open up, trying to get away. But obviously, once these things land, it's pretty devastating. And from here on, it's pretty much just me avoiding the A4, and Captain Rogers fellow, I think he ends up leaving. He just doesn't show up at all. He probably gets an A4 as well. So to really talk about this aircraft, I guess, as you can see in the gameplay, it's pretty boring. You don't get a lot of action other than players that don't quite know how to use any of the German aircraft. And so I think that's where this thing, it makes up for its cannons, where it lacks speed, but the armament, in this case, the armament is just not really going to matter too much if you can't even catch up with, like, the 109s. Because the 109s are obviously your top enemy, top matchmaker right there. It's the one you're going to be fighting the most. And I'm fighting an A4 here, so I'm pretty much, handicapped. There's absolutely nothing I can do to this fuck with. This one, I ran out of ammo, and two, I mean, unless this guy decides to turn with me, I don't even find ammo. It would probably be a lot difficult because he's pretty strong. There's just nothing I can really do. So I'm just putting some defensive maneuvers, and then I pull in to have him overshoot. He goes right underneath me and then starts heading towards the towers. But again, aircraft's very, 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 very slow. It's just, I wish they had made this aircraft a little better, because, I mean, at this point, this aircraft is just absolutely, there's just no reason to have this in the game. I mean, you could fly with your friends in a squadron, and, have one friend bait and then the other come underneath and use its cannons to absolutely shred whoever's going after you. But I mean, there's just no point in really getting this aircraft. Even the Mark 1. The Mark 1 is just god-awful. I mean, you can't even catch up to the Stuka that too well. The Stuka, when it gets to its top speed and it's cruising, I mean, you're not going to be able to even do nearly as much damage. The guns, even the B-8 303s, I think that's what they're on, that is, has good firepower, but, I mean, if you can't even keep up, and you're much weaker than your opponent, I mean, there's no point in even flying that aircraft. And I think that's the issue with the starter aircraft in this game, really. You have a lot of aircraft that people, they're iconic and people know, but if they don't deliver the action, if they can't do well, then the point really is just for them to be looked at. They're just for show. And I think that's really where this game kind of falls short a little bit, because, people, like in any other game, are constantly trying to get to the top. Our mindset is, if you ever looked at War Thunder or World of Tanks, we just want to be a top tier, or the top best tank in the game, because we want to. We don't really give love to the lower tier vehicles, and that's where, like, War Thunder and World of Tanks kind of shine, because, there are certain tanks and certain planes where if you go low tier, they're still fun to play. They're obviously not the best vehicle, but they're still fun to play. And in this game, there are only a selected few vehicles where, low tier aircraft, unless you're really skilled in that aircraft and you know what you're doing, and you know the basics of, not the basics, but the limitations of their aircraft and yours, then, I mean, there's just no fun in aircraft like these. This thing's been out for at least, a year? Not including the BOB variant. I'm talking about the Hurricane Mark 2, the Japanese one, Japanese premium. Kind of ironic how it was the first premium. Like I said earlier, it doesn't really apply. The strategy here doesn't really apply over there in the U.S. Or the Pacific theater, because, I mean, you have aircraft like the booms, and that's basically what you're fighting when you're in BOBs. Pretty much everything's faster than you, but you can outturn everything that wants to absolutely destroy a Hurricane. And so, you get on you get on New Guinea or something, really the only threat are obviously the high tier planes, which you absolutely cannot keep up with. So you're resulted to doing things like I'm doing right now. If your entire, enemy team is just bombing and really just shooting at ground targets, then you have no choice. You're gonna have to be a heavy fighter. So, I mean, my conclusion is go out and buy this thing. If you want to really try it out, just buy this one. It doesn't, it's not absolutely crap. It's not the worst thing you could have, but I'd recommend this over its Spitfire. It's just not, obviously not the meta, but it's just not an aircraft. You'd be, you're not going to wake up and be like, I can't wait to fly the Hurricane Mark II today. Anyway, I just think they need to work on some of the aircraft. I mean, I'd give this thing, if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd give this thing a 6 out of 10, because it's just slow speed, good guns, but it's just very agile. Yeah. Well, anyway, if you guys have any questions, if you want me to review any other planes, let me know. I'll try to do the best of my abilities, my best of my knowledge. Subscribe if you're new, and thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.